Hello everyone, welcome back to our another episode of ArcGIS. In our previous videos, we have learned a lot about the basic user interface and some basic tools and basic operations. Now it's time to learn about the analytical operations of the software. So here we can see I have added four files here: road structure, road poly, administration boundary. Suppose my operation is to find out the area of structures and the area percentage based on their land use. So what should we do? If we look at the attribute tables of structure, here we can see that lots of structure are selected. It is more difficult to calculate the area percentage and area. We need to categorize all the structure by the land use type. We need to dissolve the land use. In this case, we need to go to the georeferencing first, selecting the dissolve, select a input features. We are selecting structure and select a output feature class. For example, we are selecting it structure dissolve. Okay, we are dissolving the land use, so checking the land use and create multiple features selected and okay. Now the structure is dissolved. Now if we go to the attribute tables of dissolved structure, here we can see only 15 rows. That means the structure are dissolved based on their land use type. So finally the structure are categorized based on their land use type. So if we select from the attribute tables, for example the agricultural lands, so we can see the only the agricultural structures are selected, and for example if we select the commercial one and others, we can see the all the structures are now selected by the attribute tables. So now we are going to calculate the area. So first thing is to unselect everything and then going to add another field. We are going to set a name, area square meter, plot, okay, and then selecting the whole cell and going to calculate geometry, yes, and property area and unit square meter, everything okay. And here we can see the area is now calculated based on their land use. Now if we want to calculate the percentage of area based on their land use, we need to add another field for the percentage, yes, and type float, okay, everything similar, selecting the whole cell. In this case we need to know the sum of this area, so we are going to select these cells and going to statistics, and here we can see the sum. Here we just need to select the sum and copy, Ctrl C, and then going to percentage and going to field calculator. Here we are going to put an equations. First of all we need to put a bracket and then double clicking the area square meter and divided by the sum of the area. So we are going to paste by Ctrl V and closing the bracket and then put it into 100. And now if we press the OK options, here we can easily find out the area percentage of the structures based on their land use. And this is actually how we can find out easily the area and the percentage based on anything. We can do many operations like this. Now we will do some advanced operations. Here we can see there are two questions. First of all, find out the total number of structures based on their land use categories for each ward within a distance of 20 meters, and structures those are within given distance and even touched the buffer distance from the road. So here our first operations to find out all the structures from the distance 20 meters. In this case we are going to the selection first and going to select by locations, and our target layer is the structure here, and our source layer is the road poly layer, and spatial selection method is the within the distance. Okay, our distance is 20 meters, that's why we are putting it 20, and then apply it and okay. So all the structures from the polyline 20 meters are now selected. Now we are going to see the attribute tables. Structures are selected. Now we are going to put a field here. Add a field for count float, and OK. So now we are going to select the whole column of count, going to field calculator, pressing OK and pressing on, and now OK. Which structures are 20 meters distance from the roads are now in 1 and another's are in 0. We also need to find out the structures based on their odd numbers. So there is no such odd numbers in the attribute tables. If we going to the administration boundary attribute tables, we can see the odd numbers here. So we need to intersect between these two attribute tables. So in this case, we are going to georeferencing first, then going to intersect and select input features. First thing structure, and another thing administration boundary, and put a output feature class. We are going to set it to structure intersect, pressing it OK and then OK. Now the intersect is done. If we going to the attribute tables of structure intersect, here we can see all the data are now in a same attribute tables. Now we are going to select all these data by selecting all and clicking here and copy selected, and now our data is copied. Now we are going to open another applications for analyzing these things, which is Microsoft Excel, and we are going to paste all the data by clicking here and pasting it here and OK. So we will find out the structures which are in 20 meters distance from the roads by a pivot tables. So to get a pivot tables, we are going to insert first and then select pivot tables and put the range of the pivot tables. OK. So zooming out in this, and the range of the pivot tables are here. We are selecting the range, and these are the range of our pivot table, and we need to set a locations for making the pivot tables. We are going to set this cells and pressing it OK. Now we can see some options. We are going to add the word number to column and land use to the roads and count to the values. We can see the agricultural land use in word number for 1, word number for 2, and another land uses are in word numbers in the same column, and all the data are here in the pivot tables. Here we can see the grand total is 3299, and this is how we actually can find out the total number of structures based on the land use categories for different words within a distance of 20 meters. And here is our another questions, which is calculate the percentage of road as per their road types for the each word. So there is two portions here. First of all, the percentage of road as per their road types. So first thing we need to do is to separate or to categorize the roads as per their road types. So we need to go to the ArcGIS once again, then going to the attribute tables of road poly, and here we can see that there are many such of data. And if we look at the types of roads, so here we can see that this is for local roads, secondary roads, and it is not categorized right now. So if we want to categorize this only in three things like secondary or local road or primary roads, so we need to dissolve these things. So that's why we are going to georeferencing, then going to dissolve and select input feature for road poly and select output features options, road poly, dissolve. Okay, and we are dissolving the types of roads. That's why we are selecting the types. Okay, and then pressing it. Okay. So now if we are going to see the attribute tables, here we can see only 3 types are available here. Now we need to intersect with the administrative boundary because there is no such odd number here. Okay, so we are going to intersecting this by going to the georeferencing, then going to intersect and select the input features for one for road poly dissolve and another one for administrative boundary, and we are going to output class road poly intersect. Okay, and then pressing it. Okay, so now if we close this and going to the attribute tables once again, here we can see the all the types of roads are now dissolved, and all the data are also sorted by the word numbers. Okay, so now we need to know the area. Okay, so first of all, here we can see an area, but we are going to add another field for this. So we are going to rename this area square meter float, pressing it. Okay, so selecting the whole column, going to the calculate geometry and selecting property area, then unit is square meter and pressing it. Okay. Okay, here we can see all the area in square meters. Okay, so we need to find out the percentage. In our questions we can see the percentage of the road area. Okay, so we need to find out the percentage, that's why we need to create another field for this. So where percentage square meter float and pressing it. Okay, so we need to know the sum, that's why we are going to here and copy the sum, Control C, and then going to select the percentage column once again and going to field calculator, then put the equations once again. So first of all the first bracket, then area square meter, double click, divided by the sum, Control V, closing the bracket, into 100, and then okay. So now here we can see we have get our percentage of the roads. So if we going to the statistics once again, here we can see the graphs here. Now if you want to find out all these things by the same process in Microsoft Excel, so we need to copy all these things. That's why select all, then going to copy selected, then going to Excel once again, then paste it here. Yes, here we can see. Now we are going to add another pivot table. Our range is here and our locations shall each here. Now pressing it. Okay, all the options similar. We are going to what number in row or columns, whatever you want. I'm placing it in rows. And another things we need is type. We're going to paste the type in column, and the last thing is percentage. Okay, put the value percentage. So here we can see that our pivot table is prepared. Here we can see the values for based on their word number and also their road types we can see, and grand total is 99.99948, and there is some such of errors, that's why it cannot be fulfilled in 100%. So this is all for today. We will learn about some more analytical things in our next videos. So see you in next videos. Take care.